तब तक just like a question for the two of you. What is the one thing that you miss about college the most, like since you started working?
If you ask me, I think I miss Gymkhana. So, like, I was a regular player in the soccer team. So, I mean, like, I used to spend 3.5 hours every day. So that was the most important place for me, to be honest, in the college. हाँ उसके बाद like Saturday evenings we had to go out for dinner. सारी mess बंद होती थी on Saturday evening. So that was also another fun part. Another thing would be ghats. I've had a lot of night outs. Ghats पे मतलब we had a lot of fun on ghats. Like बहुत बार I think पुलिस वालों ने भी दौड़ाया है. But yeah, that was fun actually.
I mean, I think college life में वो जो केयर फ्री एक फ्रीडम होती थी, अलग फ्रीडम. अभी यहाँ जॉब में क्या है कि तुमको मंडे को जाना ही है, ठीक है, कोई क्लाइंट है जिसका कुछ ना कुछ काम करना है, यू कैन नॉट स्किप दैट. और कॉलेज BHU इज लाइक वेरी लेड बैक काइंड ऑफ अ कॉलेज, राइट? आई मीन वी आर IITs, बट ठीक है, अभी वो BHU वाला जो फील है अभी तक गया नहीं है ना, कि प्रोफेसर आर लाइक दया आ जाती है उनको कि यार ठीक है यार तू पास हो जा, कोई नहीं. तो उस हिसाब से बड़ी रिलैक्स लाइफ होती थी, बड़ी फ्रीडम. वो फ्रीडम मुझे लगता है कि उसको मिस सबसे ज़्यादा करता हूँ मैं. और फ्रेंड्स के साथ बकर करना, नॉर्मली जस्ट गोइंग आउट फॉर वॉक्स, लिमडी पर टाइम वेस्ट करना, घाटों पे टाइम वेस्ट करना, जस्ट दो स्टफ. आई थिंक आज की डेफिनेशन हमारी इसको टाइम वेस्ट कहेंगे, बट वो उस टाइम का सबसे सबसे गोल्डन वन ऑफ द फ्यू गोल्डन थिंग्स अबाउट दैट टाइम.
हाँ जी, लाइक वो घाट्स की जो बात होती थी बनारस में, एज लाइक फर्स्ट ईयर आई था, फर्स्ट मिड सेम के बाद आई रिमेम्बर गोइंग टू द घाट्स. हमारे सीनियर्स लेके जाते थे कि फोटो जी का वॉक वगैरह, एंड इट वाज लाइक इट हैड अ थिंग अबाउट इट्स ओन, लाइक फिर वो बैठ के लेमन टी वगैरह पीना एंड ऑल.
या
All those things have their own thing. I guess Adish is calling, sir, so we'll wait for them. Otherwise, if he is unavailable, we'll introduce him when he joins, if that is okay.
Yep, he's just joining in a minute.
Okay, cool. We're so sorry for the delay. Our third speaker is currently in the US, तो फिर इसलिए time zone का थोड़ा सा ऊपर नीचे हो गया. We're very sorry about that. Is sir here? Shashank?
No, sir will be joining shortly.
Okay, then उनके आने के बाद we'll start with the introductions. तब तक a little about SCS. SCS is the Student Counseling Services. It is a body that works towards the welfare of the student community and is the organizer of this session. This will basically be a panel discussion between the three of you, where we'll be asking questions put forward by the students, and in the end we'll also be opening the floor for questions from the audience if they have any. So we'll be asking a bunch of questions ranging from what are the best things that you did that you think added up later in your career, or the one mistake that you did that you would recommend others not to do. So we'll be starting shortly. We're so sorry for the delay. Note to self to use Google Calendar otherwise whenever we're scheduling something, because it adds reminders to everybody's calendars.
Yep, I have joined.
Hi, good evening, sir. Yes, you are unmuted. Good evening, sir.
Oh, hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. So is this on?
Hanji, you are unmuted and your camera is on.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so good evening, sir. I would like to welcome you on the behalf of SCS to today's Encore session. Today is the first session of the series for the Department of Electrical Engineering. All three of you are our alumni from this department, and all our students can learn a lot from you, from your experiences, because we will be sitting in G7 just like you guys and graduating hopefully soon offline, and will probably follow the advice that we learned from you guys today. I'll start with introducing all our speakers today. We have Ankush Bansal with us. He graduated from our institute in 2019. He joined Oracle after graduating and is currently working in Microsoft as an SDE2. We have Mr. Satwik with us, who graduated from our institute in 2019. He worked as a research intern at Swayat Robots, Vigil Labs, and CCC Intelligence Solutions. He has worked as a senior associate in Ernst& Young and is pursuing his MS in electrical engineering in Columbia University of New York. Last but not the least, we have Rishabh Agarwal, who graduated from our institute in 2020. He has interned in Predible Health and is currently working as an AI researcher at Tavaret. Is there anything from that I might have missed that you guys would like to add to yourselves? Or any word?
I'd like to add one thing. Like I'd like to correct one thing. Me and Satwik, we graduated in 2018.
Oh, I'm so sorry for the error.
That's not a problem. Just a
I'm
minor
so
correction. Yes, Satwik. Okay. Yeah, we can proceed, I think.
Hanji. So these were our speakers for today. I am Ishita Sharma from Electrical Part 3. I will be your host for today. And I have with myself Adish and Shashank. Would you guys like to introduce yourself?
Yep, hello everyone. Myself Adish Jain, and I'm in electrical part 2, and I live in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Shank, it's up to you.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Shashank, also from Electrical Engineering Part 2. I will be your co-host for today.
So I think since we're done with the introductions, again, a final brief on how the session will go. First, we'll be asking, sirs, we circulated a Google form amongst the community earlier this week, and we got a bunch of questions, and we selected a lot of them that we think is relevant for everybody to know, and this panel can discuss and give their views upon. This will probably go for an hour, after which we will have a 30-minute session on where the audience can ask their questions directly to you. Okay. So the first question that we have is, when did you realize that you wanted to pursue the career path that you are currently pursuing? And do you think कि college से पहले start करना played a role in it? Because it's like college आने से पहले everybody is like मैंने C कर ली, मैंने Python कर ली, ICSE वाले kids are like मैंने Java कर ली and all. तो Java की थी school में and all. So do you think preparing for it before college plays any role? And when did you know you wanted to pursue your current role?
Okay, maybe I'll start. So, I mean, I'd already decided in college that my third year internship will decide what I want to pursue. Most of the people today are like, I mean, I know this is the trend in college right now that everyone starts doing competitive coding right from the first year, second year, and by the time they appear in like their fifth semester for internships, uh, it's like pre-embedded in everyone's mind that okay, I need to do coding just to get an internship. I had a completely different thought process. Uh, I had not done any coding until my second year. So in my second year, I went to IIT Bombay. There was one internship program, a club internship program. So I went there. Around there were 60 interns, I guess, there. So I worked there for the first time in the tech field, I will say, and I really enjoyed it. At that point of time, in my third year, there were two options: either like go for a internship abroad for like 2.5 months, or like I could pursue something in the professional world. I decided that okay, I want to pursue something in the corporate world because that will actually define if I want to go ahead and do an MS or I could continue doing the job. So that third year internship was key for me. It was only after that third year internship I started doing competitive coding. So only in the seventh semester I started competitive coding. I know that this might sound a bit weird, but that's how it was. I think the seventh semester uh, I grilled almost everything in the competitive coding. That was a pretty tough semester, I'll say. But yeah, eventually I knew like companies do come, placement scenario is quite good in our college. uh, it has become much better right now, so like I was kind of confident ki ha, I'll definitely get something. So that's how I defined my path in the college. And once I joined Oracle, uh, I was quite happy that okay, how things are going and how I want to take it ahead, and then I made a switch to Microsoft. Yeah.
हाँ जी.
So my experience was a little different. For me, actually, I collected a couple of experiences, and all of that culminated into this career choice. So initially, in my second year, I worked with a CS prof on a project. That was I just wanted to initially. I did not want to waste time. All of my friends were either doing internship uh, or else doing some course, some sort of course. So I just did not want to feel like FOMO. So I started off like that, and then I first came across this thing called machine learning. That was when I started learning about it. I just did an Android course. Probably that gave me the kickstart. From there on, I slowly started working on internships. So most of my friends were doing most of them were doing corporate internships. So that was when I decided, at least I felt that this is not going to work for me, and I did some research internship at Swayat Robots. I mean, that's a small startup only, but actually that gave me the very right exposure. Like I think I did some 5 to 6 projects when I was there. That is actually too much in a very in 2-3 months time. Then I got to learn just not the coding and the project aspect of it. I also got to see the mathematics, like my interactions with my founder. He taught me how important mathematics is, and by then I was also very interested in mathematics. From then on, I started taking math courses. Like I think in your third year you will get to take electives, right? So I took all of them, all math courses during those electives. And yeah, by fourth year, I was sure that I was going to do masters. Like in my second year only, I was assuming I had this idea that I had to do masters. But by my final year, I was pretty sure that I'm going to do masters, and corporate job is not my thing. But mm, yeah, I worked. Then what I did was I wanted to do a research internship because my credentials, I was sure that my credentials are not that great. So for a year I worked at IIT Hyderabad. Then I was not simply applying for masters, I was also applying for PhD because as you know, I just took only research based things, right? Until then, research was really something that I wanted to do at that point. So for a year, I worked at IIT Hyderabad. Then I applied for a couple of PhD programs. I did not get, I mean, I got one, but that was not the one that I wanted to do. I want to do it with a very good prof. So for a year, I just took a break. I worked at Ernst& Young. Like, it is senior associate, but actually the work I did was a machine learning engineer. But the what's that? The tag is the of a senior associate because that is a consultant company. And yeah, after that, I just got an admit at this Columbia University. But after coming here, I understood how strenuous the PhD program is going to be. So it takes a lot of effort, man. So I downgraded that to a master's now. Yeah, I think I'm done. Thanks.
हाँ जी.
Yeah, so let me add a few things from my side as well. So I took a drop after 12th and I went to Kota, just like any other regular IT guy. एंड एक साल इतनी पढ़ाई करी वहाँ पे मैं पक चुका था. आई वाज लाइक कि अब पढ़ाई लिखाई तो अब हो चुकी है, अब तो कुछ नहीं करना है. एक बार IIT BHU मिल गया, वहाँ पे IIT घुसे. उसके बाद ये था कि आप पढ़ाई लिखाई साइड रखते देखते हैं और क्या चीज़ें हैं. तो एक तो इंटरनेट बड़ा अच्छा था कॉलेज का, ठीक है, सीनियर्स बड़े अच्छे थे, इवेंट्स हो रहे थे हर तरफ, नई नई चीज़ें मिल रही थी. प्रोग्रामिंग मैंने कभी टच नहीं करी थी आने से पहले, so that was very new to me. So I started grabbing those new things which I found exciting. फर्स्ट ईयर सी से स्टार्ट किया, हैकरिंग, पाइथन. नॉर्मली यही क्या है, एक DIH प्रोजेक्ट हुआ करते थे समर्स में. इफ यू डोंट गेट एनी इंटर्नशिप एंड डोंट गेट एनी काइंड ऑफ अ प्रोजेक्ट, सो यू कैन create your own team, come up with a project idea and get some funding from the institute, जिसमें कुछ आई थिंक कुछ शायद 3,000 में मिल जाते थे महीने के. And we had that project, so it required a website. I started learning Django. I liked it so much that I went to Kashi Yatra people, asked them to help me with it, and they took me in for website development. So I was working in the tech team. Next year I went from Django to Angular to web development, front end, back end, those things, and like creating multiple open source projects, put them on my GitHub profile, etc. Then I became tech head in the third year of Kashi Yatra. फिर आई डिसाइडेड यार हो गया, वेब डेवलपमेंट बहुत कर लिया, मैं पक चुका हूँ, अब कुछ नहीं हो सकता ऐसे, ठीक है, कुछ चेंज करते हैं. तो देन आई स्टार्टेड किया, ठीक है, उस वक्त क्या बहुत फैशन में आ चुका था मशीन लर्निंग. हर जगह जिसको देखो मशीन लर्निंग कर रहा था. 2017 की बात है. एंड कोर्सेरा पे बेसिक कोर्सेज थे मशीन लर्निंग के, और उसमें तो एक यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ वाशिंगटन का बहुत अच्छा कोर्स था, स्पेशलाइजेशन था 5 कोर्स का. आई डिड दैट, आई रियली लाइक्ड इट. आई स्टार्टेड पार्टिसिपेटिंग इन कैगल कॉम्पिटिशंस. बेसिकली कुछ अच्छे कॉम्पिटिशन्स हुए जिसमें मतलब मैंने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया, कुछ मेडल्स जीते, और एक अच्छी इंटर्नशिप में आई लैंडेड इन अ गुड internship, met a bunch of very smart people from IIT Madras. They had their startup working on healthcare and AI. So I worked on one of the most advanced AI and deep learning techniques there. That helped me build my foundation of deep learning. And then basically when I came back to college had this new compute facility of very high compute machines with GPUs and other stuff. So that helped me with my growth in machine learning AI. Then fourth year, I only decided to go for data science based jobs and not go for software jobs. So I went in depth into statistics, probability, mathematics, algebra, etc. Went into basics of machine learning, classical machine learning, etc. And then got a job from the campus placements. Though after that pandemic happened, so I never got a chance to join that company. I joined another one. So in that company, I'm working as an AI researcher as of now. And recently, I've gotten my first patent published here. So that's a great achievement as of now in this company for me.
Congratulations, sir.
Congratulations, sir. Sir, like as you all know that things are happening virtually due to COVID, and so is our online classes. So like for our current batches, even courses like manufacturing practices, like all that stuff, and engineering drawing, like these all things have also happened online. And so like you can imagine that we are just suffering from lack of practical applications in all domains. So like there was one common question, like how can we figure whether to pursue core or non-core?
Okay, maybe I can start with that again. See, first thing is it totally depends whether you are enjoying the courses or not. I know practical applications are one part. I mean, is the college calling guys back for like 1 month, 1 week for completing the practicals, or absolutely zero?
No, like online simulations are going on, and in some courses theory have like theory quizzes are there. like in
So
manufacturing
it's
practices?
like fourth year को वापस बुला लिया because they're like तुम्हें तो lab कराना होगा. I guess 2020 batch graduated without doing the labs in the last 2 months. And हमें भी अभी एक एक करके थोड़े थोड़े कोर्सेज में सारा ऑनलाइन ही करा रहे. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रैक्टिसेस तो इन लोगों का सारा ऑनलाइन ही हुआ है जैसे.
I mean that's actually really bad, I'll say. क्योंकि there should be at least some experience of some physical lab experience before you guys can decide. But like that's how the things are. What I'll suggest is first you see whether you are enjoying core courses or not. That's the first thing. Second thing is it depends on what kind of work culture are you people interested to get in. Like I had already decided, like I had pointers and everything. I could have easily got core course, but I had one thing pretty clear in my mind that I don't want to join like IOCL and get located in a very small place somewhere in Assam or like a city like Ajmer. I had pretty clear choices that I want to be in a better city like Bangalore, Pune, and I want to work in an office, not an on-field job. So I had all these things already decided in my mind, so it made it quite easier for me. This should be the second, and third is like if you people are not getting any opportunity to practice things in lab, I'll say reach out to some industry or some offices within your city. Definitely every city has opportunities like whether you'll get electrical department or something. People are sometime helpful, sometime not, but even if you get to spend a couple of days time or like 2 or 3 days of time uh, seeking like what are the work you do, how's your regular day and all those things. So I think that can be a bit helpful to see, okay, this is the kind of work we do. But yeah, other than that, like it's difficult to choose. Package factor is also a matter. Like core companies do not pay a lot, so that is also an important factor. Uh, I think these 3-4 factors were major factor when I had decided. I think yeah, this should be good. This should hold good for you guys too.
I'd like to add just one thing to it. Like you have many professors in IIT BHU, right? They are gold actually. You just have to try to get associate with one of them and explore that area. After coming out of IIT BHU, I realized like some professors can be hard to work with, but you'll definitely find at least one good guy who can really give you a good idea what on at max the professor what he or she will do is they'll assign you to a PhD. You have to work with a PhD. So I would suggest going and talking to some professor. They'll definitely the top professors you might be knowing the names, right? Most probably the top guys in the fields in their respective fields. You just go and talk to them. They'll assign you to a project. You that way you get to get some first-hand experience. In the like in course you do in core thing you do one project like that, and in industry, yeah. Also, you also get to do internships, right? Actually, internship pay a lot when you are an undergrad. So that is also one experience. Also, on top of that, you have all these events, right? Prasuti mein, you have 3 or 4 some core events and some coding relevant and image processing events. Probably you can just take part in one of them. That way, I would say interest develops only based on the experience. So once you try to muddle in that and get to see what works and what doesn't work, but yeah, I would say first explore. So since you guys are young, you have a lot of time to actually take decisions. So yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not from core background, but I would suggest to reach out to your seniors, right, who are in core industries. So they are the best guys to guide you in these times. So they'll definitely help you out with some internships, with some projects, with some professors. So reach out to them. Feel free to reach out to them, and I think most of them are helpful. They are willing to help juniors. So yeah, that's also a good point.
All right, that was very helpful. Um, Unlike us, you people had offline college life, right? So you described your experiences, and managing academics, clubs, and career must have been far more hectic for you than it is for us. So though it is online for us, we struggle with time management. We're not able to devote sufficient time to clubs and to other things we are involved in. So how did you manage that?
I'll answer that at last. I'll answer that last. I'll let everyone else speak.
Yeah. So I mean, I am the most irrelevant person to answer that question because मेरे almost बहुत बुरे हाल हुआ करते थे बेसिकली एकेडमिक्स में. मैं एकदम बॉर्डर लाइन पास हुआ करता था. लाइक जस्ट बॉर्डर लाइन पास होने का टच कर जाऊँ, दैट वाज लाइक माय मोस्ट, दैट मेरी वही इच्छा हुआ करती थी यार, बस पास होना है. और बाकी टाइम जितना होता था मैं आई ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू डिवोट टू द थिंग्स दैट आई लाइक, कोडिंग और मशीन लर्निंग, कैगल कॉम्पिटिशंस, हैकेथन्स, ये इवेंट्स, केवाई टेक्निक्स, यही सब में लगा रहता था. पर मैं नहीं वही वही काम करता था. क्लास में अटेंडेंस के लिए जाता था, मैं एक शीट बना के रखता था कि बस 75% हो गया, अब मेरे को क्लास जाना ही नहीं है. तो I am the most irrelevant person to answer that. If you want to balance these two things, I think maybe Sairam can answer that.
Dude, I too struggled in my second year. So, but in third year, I got this luxury for choosing the courses of my choice. So what I did was, in the electives, I chose out of department electives, I chose the proper math courses. I was pretty sure by then that these are the kinds of areas that I want to touch upon. In electrical also, there were some electives, right? So in that also, I made sure that if maximum I would try to take a math relevant elective course like digital signal processing or some sort of signal processing course. I would take that because I like those courses. That way I just design my coursework. But when it comes to time, like there always has to be a compromise. Like over the years I learned this, you cannot balance everything in life. You have to compromise on a few things. So I would suggest, don't go too hard on it. After a point, what happens is your experiences matter more than your grades. Like even when in a job, I just saw people who barely passed their, like they just passed with all C's, a maximum of C's in their grade sheet, and despite that, they are actually doing much better their job than me because they focus most of the time on learning skills actually, or vast experience. No, like your grade sheet, these things don't matter at all. Only your experiences and how skillful you are, those things actually take you to places. But having said that, having good grades is actually not bad. You can actually find entry into some top top level areas. Like let's say you want to apply for IIMs or some prestigious college in the world. Like for getting into Columbia also, it took me really like 2-3 years of experience to balance that not having good grades. You understand? So it's actually good to have good grades, but overall, when you try to enter into this world of working, like this corporate world and all, they value your skills more than your grades. So don't go too hard on grades, but don't go also too light on them. Like you just try to make some sort of compromise. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, like adding on to that, like I have a bit, like I totally agree what Satwik said. I have a bit different context on that. I believe everyone should maintain as much high grade as possible. That's like my thought process. Uh, and like if you see our college, I don't think it's that difficult to score high grades, to be honest. People tend to become careless in their second year and third year, and that's when they lose grade. Okay, so and I think it's like I used to study 1 week only. I was occupied in almost any activity in the college you can think of. I was occupied in everything. You name one thing and you'll find my name in that. So I used to study only 1 week before the exams. I graduated as the gold medalist of my department. Not only that, I graduated as the silver medalist of the entire college. Okay.
Dude, you are an outlier.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't take his like I don't know. He mentioned he was in the football team. That I know for sure. Sorry. Oh yeah, he was in the football team. I know that. He also used to get very good pointer. He made a branch shift also, like in the early stage. That means he has to have 9.5 plus CGPA. You get that right. And also he got into top level company. I think Oracle. I just know, like in my opinion, Ankush is an outlier. So don't. He's the golden standard, right? You just don't take him as a. I mean, you can view him as aspiration, but you cannot take him as the average guy. He's definitely beyond average. So you come to reality. That's what I would say.
come on, Satvik. I'm trying to inspire people here. No, I mean, like Right. I mean, I just don't like when people say that, how do I manage my college time? Uh, College time is the time to explore. Like, keep your phone aside, yeah. I know people spend a lot of time in that. Keep your phone aside. Like, I'll tell you my normal schedule in a day. What the schedule I had. Like, I used to get up at 7:30, 8 a.m. I was in class. Uh, uh, Till like 12:30 there were classes. Then for 1 hour I was generally like I was a member of parliament, so I was generally in the dean of I was with the dean of academic affairs for like generally second half. Either I used to be in electrical department lab, or I was like I was a teaching assistant, so I'd be taking classes directly from the department. Like at 4:35 I went to the football field. I was to be there till like 8:30. I came back. I have my dinner till 9:30. I immediately go out. Uh, Either I was if it's the first semester, I'd been involved in robotics. If it's the second semester, I'd been involved in techniques, or apart from all these, I used to take out time for the student alumni cell. Like that was the first year the alumni cell was founded. So we had to do a lot of work there, and like managing all these, I know it was very difficult. It's not that easy, I'm saying, but it's not that you cannot try doing that. If you try to do that, it's definitely manageable. It's 100% manageable. If one person can do it, then other one can also. So explore as much as possible. The second year and third year, I'll say those were the golden periods of my life. Not only college, my entire life. I had explored a lot of things. Okay, and like those were the times I could decide. Okay, this is what I want to do. So don't think a lot about time. Just think what you want to do. Take it up and then learn to manage. Because if you are not taking up something, you'll never learn how to manage.
Thank you so much for your words. I guess it kind of gives everybody a perspective कि okay, clubs के साथ भी we can get stuff done everywhere. So I guess आप सबने बोला, you mentioned कि explore करो, है ना? And in today's session we have a lot of first year rights, है ना? And first year rights के लिए एक मतलब copy paste वाली advice सारे seniors देते हैं कि they're like क्या करे भैया दीदी, we're like explore करो, है ना? So, what is one thing that you think was the best thing that you explored in your first year that added later in your life, and you would recommend that to somebody else as well?
If you ask me, like not, I'll say it, I did exactly opposite. I didn't get a laptop. I think there's some noise. Okay.
1 minute, I'll mute them.
Yeah.
Hanji, continue.
Thank you, Sita. Yeah. So in the first year, before coming to college, I had decided that I will not get a laptop. So in the entire first 2 semesters, I didn't get a laptop. I know like 80% of the people, they continue to lie in their hostel, in their bed, and keep watching on series and all those stuff. So I didn't want to do that. Well, people were in their rooms, like I was outside most of the time, and that's where I started to explore. The initial, I think, the 3-4 months, I joined robotics. I also joined the aero modeling club. There were competitions for first years and all those. So I took participate in each of those, whether I knew or I didn't know how to do that. Sometimes I learned, sometimes I enjoyed, sometimes I was like, okay, this is not my cup of tea, so I'll just let it go. But I did participate in everything, and as I continued to participate in things, it was easy for me to decide, okay, this is I want to continue, and this is something I don't enjoy. So I mean, be part of like sports, academics, politics, whatever you could be a part of in the college, just be a part of it, and then it'll come naturally for you, what you want to learn, what you want to grow in.
Yeah, that is quite insightful. So for my case, what happened was that I joined college in 2015. Right, this is pre-Geo era. So I had that 2G internet back at my home, 24 kbps max speed that I had witnessed in my life. Now fast forward to IIT BHU, 10 Mbps, right? You can download songs.pk songs like in 2 minutes, in a minute or so. And YouTube video, that was the first time I watched a YouTube video without buffering. So I mean, it was quite a different experience for me, right? So I think the best thing I learned about then, that might not be relevant for you guys, but I'll still share, is that I learned about the power of internet. I learned about Coursera, YouTube, those Stanford lectures and whatnot. So those things, I mean, back in the days we used to see from that Balaguru Swami book, right? I don't know, let us see book. There's a let us see book. I don't know if you guys learn anything from books these days, but so that was quite a different era back then. I mean, the life has completely changed in last 3-4 years. So I think everything is on your plate, man. I mean, internet gives you everything, serves you on a platter. It's just that you have to go get it, learn it, and basically improve your skills. It's up to you. So when people say explore, I think it's about getting a taste of everything that a regular person in your college, in your domain, explores. What others are doing, just have a good social, that network, right? Have that good networking skills where you talk to your batchmates, your seniors, you are in touch with them so that you do not get lost. You know what's happening, what's in the demand, where people are joining, what are they doing at different things. I think that will give you the maximum exposure to all the things that you can explore. And based on your likings, based on those discussions, just take a call, just go in, learn a few things, spend a few hours, a few days. If you don't like it, just quit it, find something else. And this is the time to like find and get taste of almost everything that yeah. So just don't be shy, introverted guy, person, people, girls. So just interact with your batchmates, make friends, interact with your seniors, reach out to your pass out alumni, right? And talk to them, right? So this is one advice that I can give.
हाँ जी.
Yeah, my advice will be just a mix of both. So yeah, this college time is actually gold, man. Like I understood that after I started working in the corporate world, and later on I just became a student again. Then I tried to exploit what all opportunities that Columbia can offer me. Like I'm studying in the Columbia University right now. So you have a lot of things happening around you. You can really exploit. This student card is actually very powerful thing. You can explore quite a lot of things in college only. Actually, IIT BHU gives quite a lot of opportunities. I mean, I think it gives you as many opportunities as a top, I mean, the best college in India does. So you just have to look for opportunities, work actively in them. It's not like just taking a part in them for for a certificate. You actively work in that. You have to make some contribution. At the end, you have to write something in your resume, something substantial in your resume. So I would suggest really taking active part in whatever you guys do. Yeah, but by some time, like after a while, you'll understand. Okay, this is my thing. After some 2 or 3 experiences, you'll definitely know that okay, this is working out for me. I need to pursue this path. Then based on that, you'll just fine tune what your future, like your decisions will be almost sorted out. You'll that confusion of what to explore and what to do will start getting clearer and clearer as you take more and more experiences. So take an active part in whatever you guys do. That's my only suggestion.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the freshers who are in this meet would have found that very helpful, because this is one thing that they keep asking, how do I explore? I'm sure this was very insightful for them. Touching upon resume, which Sairam bhaiya mentioned just now, so our seniors have always told us that for a good resume, a good project always looks good on your resume. And so one question that we get on our minds is that how do you choose a good project? How do you come up with good project ideas?
Okay, I'll just start off. I mean, this good project is a myth, first thing. Second, you have to start off with mistakes only. Always you have to start off with, I mean, when I look at my second year projects, no, they look very lame to me. But I just started off like that. That's how it is. Anything, anywhere, I mean, anything in the end world starts off with some lame things only. Your steps will be very muddy. And after that, they start getting better. So even probably right now, I'm in my master's, right? After 4 years or 3 years, when I look at my master's projects, I'll start smiling at them. Like, what kind of project is it? So it's not like a good project is always a myth. So always after a while, any project actually uh, stales out. You just have to understand that. So start with something, and later on, putting it on a resume, these things, anything you can actually glorify and put something on the resume. So I would suggest work with some professor. If the professor is really keen on getting a paper, no, he'll actually assign you to a paper level idea only. Or some, when you work in Prastuti or these kind of clubs, they do works which are actually good. They are good for they're good, sometimes even better for an undergrad. So when you associate yourself with uh, with a person or with a club which has some credibility, you'll automatically do some kind of work which is actually great for an undergrad, which is actually something which matters, which highlights for which enhances someone, uh, some undergraduate level student. So probably at max, what I would suggest is associate yourself with some credible person or some credible what do you say, club. That way, so the projects you pick towards the end will have some kind of importance. So the thing that you are saying, that resume it has to look good, then only it will look good. Probably that is when you'll understand that you are doing good. Like, I too did not understand that I was doing something bad. Like in my second year, I did a project. In my fourth year, when I looked at that project, I thought it was very lame. But after I came out of the university and when I started working, like I used to extend I used to have conversations with my friends. Then during those interactions, I realized that what I was doing it was actually much ahead than uh, probably some of the best guys in the field at that point in the during the second year. Water projects they did, the project I did was better than what they did. So it's always about associating yourself with someone or something which has some kind of credibility. Yeah, that's the only advice I have.
Like Satwik, he's totally on point regarding research products. No one could be better than him on that front, I'll say. I totally suck in that point. I don't enjoy research projects. I somehow managed to pass it. I was one of those person, like I was in a group of 4 people, and I used to just prepare the presentation on the last day and like present it in front of the professors. I was one of those guys, to be honest. But yeah, what Satvik mentioned is totally on point. It's not about just putting things on your resume. Never try to do that. You can put anything you want, and no one is going to check, okay, is this right or is this wrong? I think recently there has been checks and all started by TPC. But yeah, even once you come out, like no recruiter is going to check, okay, whether you did this or not. If you're doing something, whether it's a project, whether it's an extracurricular activity, do only if you want to learn something. There's no point in just trying to put things. And like a good project, there's nothing like a good project, like Satvik mentioned. If you want to really work on research, find a professor who is doing research activities. There are multiple professors in our department also, like who are involved in research. I think if Professor Sham Kamal is still there, he researches a lot. Professor Saket, if you see his resume, I think he has more than like 80, 90 conferences and papers. If you guys see, even on the website of our college. So there are people doing research. Professor R.K. Srivastav, like he is like the king of machines, I'll say. He can run any machine, I'll say. He's that strong and powerful. So just reach out to these guys, sir, whether are you doing any kind of a project? Is there any opportunity for me to contribute a little? And even if professors generally deny, because they know that students come, they work for like a week or so, and then they run away. At that point of time, if professor is not helping you, reach out to PhDs. Reach out to PhDs, ask them, okay, so yeah, like maybe you're doing research under Professor SK Singh. Can I help you on that? Spend around 1 month with them, and he or she will like automatically introduce you to the professor. And that way you can make your path in getting that project. And like every project is like, it's more about research, what you learn. It's not about the result, but it's about the process of that project. Ultimately, if you spend around 3 to 4 months at least, like one semester on a project, it's good for you, I'll say.
I'd like to rephrase the question as Zarasa. I think
Uh-huh.
the point went across Zarasa wrong. So
Okay.
the thing is that now when we're sitting in like third year for our internships and stuff,
Right.
we're supposed to mention our projects on that as well. And Bhaiya explained very well on the core wala side. So
Right.
for the non-core peeps, we like make that login wala website that we get the 10-hour tutorial for on YouTube, or we like manipulate the Titanic data set and उसी से conclusion निकाल के we put up on a resume. And
Right.
after a point, even we खुद से realize कि okay, ये projects करने से हमें भी खुद से we're not doing anything new or we're not learning anything.
Right.
So like for the non-core side as well, because I think we were explained enough on the core side. What advice would you give for good project ideas for somebody in the non-core field?
The non-core, like basically software engineering field, it's vast. You can get on like data mining side, you can work on artificial intelligence. If I talk about academic projects where you really want to create an impact, reach out to people in CS department. We'll definitely have Professor A.K. Singh, Tanima Datta ma'am. I mean, there are multiple professors who are doing research. If you're talking on the academic front, on the non-academic front, like personal projects, something which you want to put on your resume, there are like two ways. One is join any club and help that club develop a website. Like you can join Kashi Yatra, you can join Technics. There are like everywhere we have like something technical going on. So if you build that kind of system, because that will give you a real experience. People actually register on the Technics website, they make payment, they see success, failure, and everything. So there can't be a better opportunity than that to do a real life project. And if you want to explore, I think exploring through YouTube projects and all, I think it's good at undergraduate level. Most of the companies don't even check. They are only interested today in only DS and Algo, I know. People are just ranting data structure questions, algorithm questions, and they clear the written exams and they solve the questions in the like interviews. So this is what they are interested on, companies that come to hire. But for your personal learnings, I think those projects should be good. Whether you put it on resume or not, that is a different thing. But for personal learning, I think watching YouTube videos and like watching some courses and then trying to build, yeah, once you build those things, you can put in some sort of innovation in that. Okay, maybe instead of doing this, what I do that, why don't I do that? Or like you combine two different projects into one and make something out of it. But yeah, try to put it into use. Only then you'll realize, okay, what better things I can do from that project.
That's a very good point. So yeah, definitely from that rectification of case of case, these guys have it all. So even companies are finding it very hard to come up with new questions to ask to these guys. But I am online with that, coming up with something new. So as Ishita mentioned about the tutorials, about those Coursera projects which have got their solutions on GitHub posted, right? People just copy pasting it, submitting it there, getting the certificate, and those that Titanic dataset code already being there, you're just putting it on your resume. So I think I faced this issue when I was starting with this. So I had that problem of that problem statement of cat versus dogs classification. Then what I did was I came up with this idea of doing the same classification but among my friends. So I wrote a small Python script which used OpenCV to use the camera of the laptop, and it would click pictures of my friends every, let's say, 10 seconds. So I ran that script on multiple laptops of my friends, right? And I collected that data set. I labeled it that this is Karan, this is Sangram, this is Gandhi, this is me, and I created a model to distinguish that. And I faced multiple issues. Like I had a South Indian friend, and we both are dark complexion, so that model was facing a very hard time classifying us. So those situations, and those were the things that we discussed during the interview, right? We went very in depth discussing what are the ways we could fix those issues, and I think that impressed the interviewer. So you have to think outside the box. Like everybody is doing those courses. right? Everybody is doing that Coursera course. Everybody is doing that tutorial on YouTube, right? You have to come up with something that distinguishes you from others. You also mentioned that you feel like you are not learning anything new, so you have to figure out how to learn new, right? You have to put that to use, as Ankush mentioned. So whatever you learn, you just put that to use. Create a project, put it up on GitHub, just share a tweet on Twitter, on LinkedIn that you created this project. This is what it does, and so on. So that will help.
I just want to add one thing here, since the software development, software development is a different monster altogether. Like you have to, you can only gain that experience while working for a corporate. Like while sitting in college and learning those things, I think that's almost near impossible, because the stakes are high in software development. So first thing is, I feel the only way that you can have a peek into software development is to actively understand how to code. That's the most basic thing. Like you need to be very comfortable with whatever code changes. So after a point, even software developers don't discuss code. They discuss more on what to code and what are the components that are supposed to be there. So it's like they have reached a point where coding is just like speaking to someone for them. So I would suggest try to do as many projects as possible. That's the only way. If you really are talking about software development or some non-code thing, it's actually trying to model and code and trying to solve problems. Solve as in, it's just not geeks for geeks. It's just not problem solving. It's just not that. There are a lot of things like doing a project and anchoring a project. That is again another kind of problem solving. So try to gather as many experiences as possible. All of them will culminate into one good opportunity. So be hopeful always. Yeah.
It was quite insightful. Thank you, Bhaiya. Like one question which I would like to ask कि normally the freshers आते हैं, so they have notion कि we have to do branch change, and just go to CSE. So in computer science related fields, what difference in opportunities do you feel from us here CSE graduates, if there are any?
Like I'll add on to that. Like I also joined as in the chemical department, and then I changed to electrical. But like it was not like I was disappointed कि यार I didn't get CSE and all. Because once you are in a circuital branch, things are almost same for you. Either you are in CSE, MNC, electrical and electronics, things are totally open for you. That's the one thing, because I think almost all the companies open up for all these four branches. There are few exceptions. I'll definitely say there might be few exceptions, but at the end now, I think since we have the concept of open electives, and I think recently there was an announcement that minor degree is also going to start in the college really soon. So you can easily explore the courses in the CSA department. Like for my open electives, uh, I like for my last 4 semesters, I took classes in the CSA department, and I did not enjoy, to be honest. वहाँ पे they don't teach anything; they just teach theory. The people sitting in the class, they definitely know much more than that while the professor is teaching. I can bet you on that. And that's how it is. And like I took artificial intelligence course, like professor was teaching XYZ only theory, why artificial intelligence was born. Like I don't care, yeah, why it was born. Tell me how can I use it. So that thing is missing from the theoretical point of view. So I'll say if you only talk about comparing the departments, there's absolutely no advantage or disadvantage of being in like CSE or a non-CSE department.
Okay, Rishabh Bhaiya, do you want to add something? Rishabh Bhaiya and Sairam Bhaiya.
Yeah, I think I agree with all the points that Ankush mentioned. So if you want to change branch, good for you. Work hard, get good pointers, change to CSE. Be happy. But if you haven't changed it, if you are not able to change, then don't cry. I mean, just use all the opportunities that you've gotten just being in the electrical branch, right? You'll get a lot of things to do. Just get the best out of that, and you'll be good in long term.
I don't know what to say. I was not in that position, first of all. But one thing what I would say is, I mean, yeah, doing a branch change to CS, that gives you a different kind of luxury. Like, see, let's say I'm taking electives, right? So for to do a course in computer science or some other branch, I actually had to wait for 2 years when I was in my first year. So, but if I want to do a course immediately, but when I'm sitting in CS, actually doing the kinds of courses I want, that's actually luxury for me. So I mean, I can always do whatever course of my choice. So that is one luxury you'll have. But branch change, yeah, cribbing about branch change is actually, I think, waste of time. So after a point, what matters is you need to have the necessary skills to actually deal with the job. See, let's say Rishabh, he picked up web development, right? Web development was never taught to us in my, at least in electrical engineering. And I think we also did not have a proper data structures and algorithms course. Despite that, Ankush picked that up. So always you can find avenues to learn things. So creeping about branch change is definitely not helping you anymore. I mean, these days anyway, internet has actually democratized everything. You can actually seek for whatever you want. Like it's all in front of you. It's just that you need to manage your time properly. Yeah. So if you have any doubts also, you can just reach out to anyone from the CS. Like if you are doing something in CS, very CS specific, and you are stuck somewhere, you can definitely reach out to someone in the CS. That way, I mean, learning is never going to stop just because you did not change branch. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I guess that convinced everybody कि okay, electrical में भी आके सारी hope गई नहीं है. We can still do pretty awesome stuff यहाँ से भी. So my last question before we open the floor for the audience के questions is that in your respective field, how much growth do you get to experience in like your personal growth that you have seen since you've joined, or your peers की growth that you might have seen? And do you still get to learn new things as you go along?
I mean, that's how life is. You'll always learn new things when you come across, but also you should be open to new things that are coming across. If you just close your eyes and just um, let the things happen as they are, you will definitely not grow. But you should be, after a point, that is like a drug, dude. Like after a point, you'll seek for opportunities where you get to try out new things, learn new things. So learning has to go along with your increasing experience. So yeah, but every point, like yeah, I always do projects which are actually much more challenging than the ones I did from some 2 or 3 years ago, because that will only give me the mileage to go forward in my career. Also, since this is unlike our parents' time, this is not this is an open market. You'll stay in this, like you will be recognized so long as your skills are actually productive. Like so long as you are productive, only then you will be recognized, or else you will be kicked out. I mean, that brutal this market is. I mean, today's world is. So always seek out for opportunities where you can learn something. Like when you are writing something in your resume, you are just not writing that for your namesake. You are writing that because you feel that you have done something. That is why you write it as an achievement in your resume. So yeah, that's all I had to add.
Yeah, that plus unless you are in a sarkari job, then you can relax all your life. So
Totally agree on that. Like, what I feel is like, it, even if you are like 50 years old, you are 60 years old, there's always an opportunity to learn and grow. It depends ki when you want to stop. Uh, I personally feel that at any point of like my life, I should have a challenge in front of me. If that is not, I feel a very dull, like I don't enjoy working. So like, okay, let's say I joined Oracle. I could be like a normal decent guy. ठीक है, जैसा चल रहा है चलने दो. I know salary तो आनी है यार. किसी दिन कम काम किया, किसी दिन ज्यादा किया, doesn't matter. ठीक है, promotion normally 3.5 years में होता है. It's fine, I'll get in 4. But if you have a set mind, okay, no, I don't want that. I want to grow faster. I want to make changes. I want to earn more money. I want to gain more name. So if you have that mindset in front of you, if you have that challenge in front of you, uh, you'll find your own ways to grow. it's all about mindset and the situation you are in. You can easily find things, and I mean, it comes naturally.
Okay. That was a very, I would say, insightful and very useful panel discussion. And we now open the floor to the audience. Please put forth your questions in the chat. There is one question, I'm going to read it out right now. For this, the question reads, this person says, I don't want to work in software development or IT sector, and their main interest lies in computer vision. And they've been doing a lot of hackathons and stuff related to that field, but they struggle to find internships. And they ask you for guidance as to what they can do to progress further in this field, especially in the field of research in computer vision.
Which year? First year, second year?
Second year.
Second year, right?
Okay. So I think I have done a lot of work in computer vision, so I can guide in this regard. So computer vision, I think startups are doing a great job in our country in computer vision. Just you're in second year, just go to angel.co. There will be a lot of you'll find a lot of profiles on different startups. You can reach out to your seniors who are in computer vision. Just be open. Let's say reach out to any batchmates, right? Previous alumni. Just ask them if there is someone working in computer vision or anything similar. So though they will definitely guide you. Get something. Get an internship in computer vision. Rest, I'd say build while you're not getting that, right? While you're not getting into a startup, not getting into internship, work with the professor on any cool computer vision project. Let's say if you're not getting that as well, then till then just keep working on projects. Let's say there are a lot of open source projects, right? Open source libraries that you can learn. There are multiple competitions that are happening on Kaggle, right? Keep participating in them, keep winning them, keep improving yourself while you're not getting into internships. But when you get into internships, just work the best that you can, learn about this. Yeah, keep yourself up to date with this domain, because it's very fastly it's changing very fast. So latest research which is happening, just follow that open source community which is there on Twitter. So Twitter is like there are a lot of things to Twitter, but one of the good things is that in computer vision we have a very good community. So top researchers from academia, from corporates, you'll find, you can find them, follow them, and just keep yourself up to date. That, and just reach out to me. I'll maybe get you an internship.
All right. I hope that addressed your question, Chak. I have a question from my end, and a lot of other people have this thing on their mind also. The people who are not a lot into coding, who find it a bit too hectic, they tend to go into data science and machine learning domains, right? So what is your opinion on this?
I would say coding is a good to have skill, first thing. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that bad. So right
Yeah.
now I'm doing my master's, right? Here also the first level of test, I mean preliminary test across most of the companies and across most of the labs is at least they'll see if this guy can code or not. Coding is just like, I mean, I too wasn't good when I was in my bachelor's. So with experience only I grew. But what I would say is it's good to have some coding profile. I too find it boring sometimes, but actually it's more like communication only. So when you can smartly communicate with some computer, it's actually a very good flexibility in today's world. So try to at least maintain some level of decency in the coding. And yeah, it's not initially probably some jobs you can just get away with data analytics skills. At least data science, those roles don't demand as much coding as a software developer requires. But after a point, if you really want to go up the ladder, at least in before your managerial career starts, when so long as you are in tech, you need to have some level of proficiency in the coding, because in the pipeline, you will have value only when you are actually contributing in each of the components, in almost all the components in the pipeline of the product development. So to be able to do that, you need to be a somewhat decent level coder. If you are in an engineering area. Like if you for data science, probably at least there are some jobs which just see if you are actually able to analyze some intricacies or find out reasons for not of why the product is failing. Or these are few aspects in a typical data science job. But in that also, you should be able to. It's just not like there is some standard template which you can use, standard template for code which you can use to just plug and play your models or these things. You should be able to write some code. You need to like put down your ideas. There has to be certain level of proficiency in coding as well. That's the uh, final line that I would like to add. So don't just think that data science job also. I mean, for a typical data science job, you will not require that. But if you want to climb the ladder, if you want to make more and more important contributions, in that case, you should know some level of coding. Coding is just not this day geeks for geeks as people assume. No, you should be able to implement your idea and probably some most efficient way at that point as much as possible. That's what coding is. Geeks for Geeks is definitely not coding. It just is one way of peeking into this coding. It's just one way. There are multiple other ways. Like just say if you just take one research paper and try to implement at least one or two results in that paper, that can also be counted as coding. So yeah, I think you got what I said.
Yeah, completely agree with all the points. And not just that, but I mean, coding gives you a altogether different thought process, right? You are let's say, as Satwik mentioned, that you have to implement your idea, not just implement it, but also implement it in the most efficient way, right? Data structures, algorithms, those things are going to give you that thoughts, those that kind of a thought process using which you can come up with those efficient ways, right? When you're dealing with terabytes of data, you have to optimize things. You cannot simply write for loops and loops and loops, right? And you have to come up with efficient methods to implement those things and get that done. And also in data science, I mean, it's not that you will be working on your own, right? You'll have a team. Everybody will have to write good quality code, right? Because they are working as a team, so that people can understand that code and can use your work, right? So it's always a good, obviously, like I mean, good thing to just learn code, and not just learn, but learn it well, how to write good quality code. That's a must. And most of the companies, they have their preliminary rounds as simply coding rounds. Then you get to data science round. So that's a must.
Ankush Bhaiya, would you like to add anything?
I think these guys covered really well, so I think we can proceed.
All right, that was a very exhaustive answer. There are two questions, similar questions, by Kshitiz and Shashank. So they say, how difficult it is to switch your profile later on in your career, whether that is changing it from SD to data science or something like that, or from core to non-core after say 2-3 years of work in that domain. How difficult can it be, and what challenges can one face when they want to change their domain?
I'll take that question. First thing is about changing their domain. If you are an SD, you want to change to like data analyst profile. Uh, I don't think that will be really difficult. Doing opposite might be a bit difficult. From data analyst to SD is difficult because SD is like more core like more core CSE concentrated, I'll say. As an SD, you almost get to touch upon all the aspects of a development. Switching from SD to any other field, it's not that difficult. And I'll say the others which is difficult, but it's not impossible. I still know people like my juniors who have made their switch. This is generally feasible and easy in the initial 5 to 6 years, I'll say, because that's the time when you can explore things. In the corporate world, you can work on multiple fields, and then at like after 5 to 6 or maybe 7 years, you decide, okay, this is the field I want to continue. So initial 5 6 years, I'll say it is easy changing the domain from within the software. And the next thing is about from core to non-core. Uh, the converse is almost next to impossible. Like from non-core to core, you actually can't make a switch, to be honest. Someone working in IT and you want to join IOCL, that is extremely difficult unless you appear for gate or something. Uh, But if you want to switch from core to non-core, uh, uh, there will be set of challenges. First is like the package will not be that good. Getting an opportunity to interview will be difficult, because for every job opportunity in like tech world today, there are like hundreds and like 500s of applicants for each uh, role. So if a recruiter sees, okay, that there's one person who is with a core background, there's one person who has already worked in a as an SD role, that the other person obviously gets preference. So getting that first interview call is difficult, and the best path would be join a small company after your core job, learn something, and then try to switch to a bigger company. So that should be an ideal path. And in the tech world, I'll say one thing good about this industry is it relies on your skill. It hardly matters how much you can code or not. I mean, sorry, how much you have already coded or not. If you are in that interview, there are 5 to 6 rounds. If you are able to explain them everything, if you are able to answer their questions, I think it's sufficient. It's more than enough for them. Because at the end, whatever work you do in the office, it's totally different. It's not that similar to what is asked in the interview. But yeah, I mean, it relies on your skill.
Rishabh Bhaiya and Sairam Bhaiya, would you like to add something to that?
I think Ankush got it spot on. So first thing is, yeah, making the shift in the opposite direction is always difficult because, like I said, some data scientists seek for someone with an engineering perspective. That way, switching from I mean, software developer to data science is relatively easier. But so long as you have the skills, the switch will be smoother. But one thing what wanted to add is, let's say you have been some of the biggest like you're a happening data scientist and you want to switch to a software developer career. You need to come to reality that you're not going to, let's say you're in a data scientist 2 position, like that's a senior data scientist position. You cannot expect yourself to start from a SD2 position, right? You have to come to reality. You need to again go down the ladder. From there on, you have to climb. So you should start off with SD1 and you need to gain certain skills. You might be working with someone much younger than you, but you have to accept that reality. If you want to make that career shift, you need to digest the fact that you are going to start from the scratch again. But I mean, it's a different journey. If you are willing to have that journey, it's good. There's nothing good or bad in my opinion. It's just that you need to accept things as they are. So you need to start off from ST1. From there on, you need to climb the ladder again. If you feel that this is boring, probably you have to go to some other career line of work. From there also, probably you'll end up starting with the at the beginner level. So it's always that choice. It always depends on what are your wants at that point. So yeah, that's all I had to add.
Correct. And college gives you 4 5 years to explore everything, right? You can get into internship, do software for 2 months, and figure out that this is not for you, and maybe get a core internship, and maybe get some projects related to core, and then figure out that that's not for you. I mean, these 4 5 years applies them to their maximum, and you will know what will be best for you.
All right. I hope Kshitij and Shashank found those answers very helpful.
Yep, I actually have one question to ask from my side. Like we were talking about resume and all that stuff, and internship season is also coming, and many of our second rights are there in the meet. So just and so they will reach out seniors. So I just have a small question. Like as a fellow senior, what mistakes do you think a lot of people have made, and what would you like to advise them regarding the same
Mistakes as in
in resume making?
in resume making.
Yes.
Uh, Again, I think resume doesn't matter much in college, I'll say, because even if you're appearing for internships, you'll need to clear your exams, like the written coding tests. And if you're good in that field, then your resume comes into picture. And even in that case, like for your initial 3 to 4 rounds, they are not that much interested. They are more specifically seeking that how to write like solve algorithms, or like how good your experience in data structure. It is when your last couple of rounds the real play of resume comes into picture. They want to know, okay, what sort of experience you had in your projects. Why did you do that project? Was there anything new that helped you in that project? So like in my case, this was the exact scenario. I remember like I was interviewing for Oracle on day 0. I had like the interview start at like 12 a.m. at night. The first slot interviews, it starts at 12 a.m. So I had like on December 1st. That's the scenario for entire all the IITs. And this is for jobs, not for internships. So at night, 12 a.m., I had my first round Oracle, and I had 6 rounds till 6 a.m. Continuously. And by the time I was so tired solving questions, coding questions, I had solved around 18 to 19 DS Algo questions by that time. And I was so exhausted. In the final round, he was like, what project have you done? Is there anything special you have done? So I brought out my third year internship project there. Okay, that this is something which my manager suggested during my third year internship. But I came back to him and told him that, okay, instead of doing it this way, we can do it that way. So that was one pointer that helped me stand out among my other peers. Okay, that I did not accept whatever project my manager suggested. I suggested something better. So those are small aspects actually that are going to help if you're shaping your resume in that way. Otherwise, most of the resume is normal stuff. Extracurriculars do not play a lot of picture unless you are uh, applying for operations and all those roles. I think OYO, Ola, those come for data analyst and operations role. So unless you are applying for those roles, resume do not come into picture. But yeah, you have to shape it that way. It's not about what in your resume. It's about how you explain whatever you have done and what knowledge you have.
So one extra point that I would like to add, that for campus-based internships and placements, these points are completely valid. But let's say if you are trying to reach out to other recruiters off campus, then maybe you'll have to prepare a good resume. So instead of preparing it in a Word document, please use LaTeX or Overleaf. So there's this website called Overleaf. You can go select some templates, good templates that you find good looking, and you can create your templates, put some good project there, and write a good cover letter. Just send it to them via emails or let's say via LinkedIn and so on. So that in that case it will help. And you can find multiple blogs about how to prepare good resumes. I'm not going into that, so just go through them as well, the basic etiquettes of creating good resumes.
Yeah, just one last thing. So I think these two guys covered most of the part. Preparing resume, yeah, for on campus, your resume doesn't really that matter. It's not that big a deal. But when you're applying off campus or trying for research internships, then people search for relevance. Let's say you have some experience as a back-end engineer, but you're applying for a front-end engineer role. These days those are not there, but most roles are full stack development. But I'm just giving you an example. So with a back-end engineer's experience, you are seeking a job as a front-end engineer. You see the disparity there, right? There only your resume will be a straight reject. You have to fine-tune your resume such that you reflect some experience related to the job that you are applying for. Even in machine learning, if you have experience in computer vision and you are applying for an NLP role, when people might not show interest in you. So you need to have some experience and you need to make sure that you emphasize that experience in your resume. So the experience that is relevant to the job that you're applying for. These are the basic things. I think you should be knowing this.
Okay, that was very helpful. I think Sairam Bhaiya mentioned something about the importance of CGPA when it comes to pursuing a career in core domain. So a question many people have in mind is, how can I pursue core if CGPA is not high enough? Is there any way to make up for that, compensate for it?
Are you calling machine learning core?
No, not machine learning. you talked about the importance of CGPA earlier, right? That for core you need a relatively higher CGPA as compared to non-core.
Yeah.
So regarding that,
Like during MS, did it help it?
Yeah. Of course. See, college seeks out I mean, whatever is there on your resume, that's what college seeks out. But at least in corporate world gives you that benefit of doubt that this guy might have some skills. So having a higher CGPA is always helpful, and it makes your admit process and these things smoother. Uh, yeah. Sorry, what was your question? You were asking having a good CGPA is good or bad? Is that what?
no.
Mhm.
In case the CGPA is not as high as you ideally want it to be, is there some way to compensate for it by doing
Yeah.
something?
Doing more projects actually is a big best compensation for a CGPA. Like I know few guys who have very bad CGPA, but they have tons and tons of experience, and tons as in they have worked on quite a lot of projects during their undergrad and during their early career. So getting a master's admit has become a very smooth process for them. So but you need to understand this: to compensate for a bad CGPA, for you need to work a lot, because you need to show that okay, this guy is experienced and he's skillful. He's and this is how someone sitting on the admission table in the master's sees. So looking at his resume, he has to decide, okay, this guy is good for our program, and this program will definitely benefit him in his future. So to prove that, for an alternative to bad CGPA, you have to work quite a lot. But if you have a very good CGPA and okay projects also, probably people might accept you, because they'll understand that this guy is on the line and he takes his academics seriously. So we should give him an admit. I mean, this is how a person sitting on the admission table looks at your resume. Yeah.
And you guys are in first year, second year. Just get some 9 pointers, right? Going ahead.
Yeah, actually in online it's a bit easy to get pointers. So I think average is above 9 in a branch right now.
Damn. Okay.
I don't cheat. Huh? I mean,
Yeah, like you don't.
It's impossible, Satwik. Like they are doing an online exam and they're not going to cheat. That's impossible, I'll say.
We have 24 hours to finish our ensems and midsem examinations. Like we get it at like 8 in the morning and we're supposed to submit it at 8 the other next day. So by 10 at night, we wait for the smart kids to finish it and then we sit together and like finish it. And then...
Like we used to do assignments, Satwik. Like
I
DC
mean,
machines,
we
DC
used to,
machines assignment.
yeah, and we used to have one person. We used to call him Pondi Baba. So he had question papers from last 4 years,
yeah.
and that was like full question bank of all the professors. Like all the like they used to come from those question papers. So that was our way of cheating back in the days.
I guess Pondi Baba ko offline maybe played an important role in everybody's, branch change and everything. Because I went to him once and he was like, "Beta, tum electrical mein ho, branch change karne ki zarurat nahi hai, CP shuru kar lo." And I was in my first year, and I was like, "Okay, Baba, मेरे को फिर भी chemistry के previous year question दे दो, please." He is a very nice person. Sorry.
Nice.
Okay, so I have like one last question regarding further studies. Like while we go for further studies, you have to write SOPs and LORs. So do you think that job experience played some role in doing that?
Yeah.
Like, does it
It
help it?
helps. Yeah. It does help, but so it also depends on the kind of college you're applying to. Like if you're applying for really top-notch colleges, right? Then you have to have every piece of thing that highlights your career. You have to have a decent CGPA, decent, at least it has to be 8.5 or something, and you need to have some sort of experience in the field that you're applying to. Let's say you're applying for a computer science program, you need to your resume has to reflect that this guy has actually done something in relation to computer science field. So probably be it AI or systems. There are multiple streams in computer science, right? So all these matters. You get, but when even a year of experience in corporate world, right, that actually boosts your resume a lot. So long as you take your work in corporate sector seriously, because so long as at least in corporate companies, what happens is if you are interested, people are ready to give you work. You just have to seek out for opportunities. That is what I saw from a limited experience. That way, you can actually boost your resume. You can add too many things on your resume. Like even a small contribution actually matters. So having corporate experience actually helps. But what happens is that once you come to masters, problem comes where when you start applying for jobs and internships. Uh, those things only happen fall through only if you have some experience. Like most of the times, my friends who have some experience and have come to the masters, mm, their job process and their job and interview process was actually smoother because they already came with experience and people are I mean the recruiters were ready to I mean were okay to accept these guys despite I mean, even if their performance in the interviews was not that great. But when you are early career, no, let's say you are doing your masters right off your after your undergrad, the admission process is relatively easy for them, so long as you have a decent CGPA, because the expectations are the bar is lower for you guys, for someone just coming out of undergrad. So I don't know if I answered your question, but this is the
Yeah,
reality.
You answer pretty
yeah,
well.
like Satwik covered most of the points for MS. I'll add another point for people who want to do an MBA. So when I was in like my third, fourth year, I was thinking that okay, I want to do an MBA. So I appeared for CAT. Like my pointers helped me get an interview from like IMB. At that point of time, the SOPs, the LORs, and my like pointer, those were extremely crucial. There were people who had pointers higher than me, who had pointers lower than me, and percentiles higher than me. Yet they didn't receive a call. And I had a higher pointer. My percentile was like 99. Yet I was able to get a call. And your SOPs, LORs, those actually play an important role at that point of time, because someone who's sitting on the other side of table, how are they going to assess you? They don't know you. All they can get from you is from that SOP, what you think about yourself, and from the LOR, they try to get what people you have worked with know about you. Either they are your professors or they are someone, your colleague, or whoever they are. So these things matter a lot, but at this point of time, like if you are in like first, second year, need not to think a lot about these. uh, Try to build a good profile, work on your like GPA, don't let it come down, and try to do some good projects. I think that should be more than enough before you graduate from the college.
Yeah, I hope that answered Adish's question. We have one more question in the chat. If you have the time, can we take that? This will wrap it up.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So, what are some of the foreign internship opportunities in different domains? If you could talk about the foreign internships in your domains that students might want to pursue that would benefit from doing.
Like in softwares field, what I remember from my college time is one is MyTax. That is, if you check, MyTax is like 2-3 months for an internship for someone who's interested in Canada. You can go on the website and you can apply. Second one is DARD. This is for internship in Germany. These are two, and I think there is one more. I don't remember. It's an Indian internship, but it's highly prestigious. I don't remember the name. Uh, Maybe I'll send you an email if I get that name. But yeah, these two, Mitex and DAD, are two prominent foreign internships. Other than that, don't rely on names. Just find universities which are good. Just find like top 20, top 30, top 50 good universities. On the website, find out who are the professors in computer science department, see what is their area, and if that matches you, send an email to that professor. Sir, this is my profile, I'm interested to work with you this summer, can you please would you like to give an opportunity to me? Like if you send like 30-35 mails, you will get one response. To be honest, out of like 30 emails, you will get one response, but you have to keep doing that. It's for that one or two limited opportunity that you have to do that. And once the professor decides that okay, I want to work with this guy, he'll manage almost everything. He'll try to get you funding. He'll try to help with accommodation and everything. Basically, he'll push his limits to help you out. So the maximum effort should be from your end, and I think that should be good.
Adding to that, I think there are a lot of programs as well which offer you, let's say, internships like GSOC. So there are a lot of open source organizations that can offer you this internship in data science, machine learning as well, where you'll be contributing to core machine learning repositories, packages, and libraries. So do check it out. GSOC. I think most of you would already know that, but yeah.
There are some Indian labs also which actually recruit students. So like IISc is one. There I know there are some labs which actually look for students. And also, yeah, like he said, I remember applying for some 150 professors during my third year for even 150 professors outside India. I wanted to do an out of India internship, research internship. So I mean, I couldn't get through. One I got, but because of the logistics, I couldn't go there. But like, don't just look out for opportunities outside India. Yeah, IIIT Hyderabad. That is also, there are also some very good labs in IIIT Hyderabad. I know one of my juniors, his name, I forgot his name. He did a research internship in some NLP lab. There are few professors, CV Jawahar, I don't know, Vinay Nambudri. I mean, there are a few guys who actually do this. So in India also there are quite a lot of opportunities. But yeah, that's it.
Okay, thank you, sirs. This was very insightful session overall. I think we'll be wrapping up our Q&A session from the audience now. Since I think we're done with the entire session, thank you for giving us your time for this wonderful evening and morning. Now I would like to present you with a vote of thanks and a memento that the Student Counseling Services has prepared for you. We will also be mailing it to you later via email. Can the coordinator please share their screen? First, we would like to present it to Mr. Sairam Satwik for giving us his time. We would then like to thank Ankush Bansal, Mr. Ankush Bansal for giving us his time, and finally Mr. Rishabh Agrahari for giving us his time. Thank you so much. Is there any final vote or words that you would like to give to the audience before we wrap it up?
First of all, thank you so much for that special memento. Final words would be just explore. Don't sit in front of your laptops unless, like, I know it's totally opposite for you guys, but explore. Just explore things. I know the laptop is your world at this point of time, but explore as much as you can within that laptop itself.
Yeah, thanks to Gautami for reaching out to me and you guys for organizing this. I think we should have more and more such sessions. I think that these sessions will give us, a good experience to, it gives us an opportunity to share those experiences. And I think I love doing that. I have always been supportive to juniors, and most of the seniors, like, they are like that. So feel free to reach out to them, and feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, reach out to me over my phone. So yeah, it was a good experience. Thanks.
Sairam sir, is there anything that you would like to leave us with?
Yeah, I just did not sacrifice my time. I sacrificed my sleep as well. So to compensate for that for me. Okay, yeah. Keeping that aside. So yeah, like he said, explore most as much as possible. One thing which worked out for me is I built over the years I built a nice people skills. I mean, try talking to more and more people, as many people as possible. Like you need to start building conversations with strangers also. So that way you'll actually you'll get information only while speaking to someone, and that is the only way you can actually improve, move forward in your career. So also just not on the this technical skills, also focus on the soft skills. I mean, in interview also they'll do for namesake. In India, these guys do HR round, but HR or behavioral round. But in at least in the US, from what I noticed, they take this round very seriously. I think I lost on a company because I did not answer a few questions. Like one of the questions was I don't know. I don't know some silly question only. For me, it sounded silly, but after a while, I just thought that okay, this math matters. So I mean, they ask you the lamest questions. Okay, one question about one of my friends was asked was, if given $1 billion, what would you do? What would be the first thing that you would solve in this world? I mean, all of the guys were saying we'll eradicate poverty, all these lame answers. One guy came up with an innovative answer. He just told that I'll invest most of that money into COVID research. I mean, the interviewer was impressed. I mean, at that point, because now COVID is a very happening thing, right? He just gave some out of the box answer. So people, at least the interviewer was shocked. So skills of these kind actually matter when you try to, move forward in your career. Also, when you go up the ladder, the emphasis on your technical skills is relatively lesser than your people skills and your judgment skills. So also build those things, like actively explore everything. On top of that, also keep talking to people. Just don't, like he said, just don't sit in front of the laptop and waste your time. You just need to talk more and more people. Yeah, that's all I have to add.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for today's session, for your time and your sleep and the valuable advice that you gave us. I'm pretty sure it changed the perspective for a lot of us, how we can better utilize our time, how we can take like better decisions to follow what we want to. And thank you for all that. With this, I would like to wrap up this session. Thank you for your wonderful time, and everybody is free to leave if they wish to. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.